Greetings, fellow brawlers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Odyssey, the Pilgrim ship. Episode 19, a checklist of things not to breach. So as you can see above my head, what we're doing right now is stockpiling on food and other resources to prep to go to the Terraformer. The Terraformer is like a giant freezer that is out of control, but it also has a grav core. So, them's the plans. And, I'd like to do some hunting before we go, so we can top up on butchery food. Making sure that we have plenty of provisions for that trip. The other thing I wanted to do is to illuminate the mining zone so that we can get a little bit more steel, because we were kind of low on steel after making all of these large thrusters. So, that's another part of the project. There was also some role changing I wanted to do. So before I go into the weeds here, I am going to do a role change. Peddling is going to role change. We'll have Atla and Breakfire attend with, let's say, Liara. And he is going to become a production specialist. I don't know why I hadn't done it before. But obviously, if he's production specialist, the quality of the stuff that he makes is going to skyrocket in terms of value. Which is ultimately pretty good for everybody. So, them's the plan. I'm also gonna move things around. So, RimWorld has had some patches since I last played. Like, one is a big one. Things that you turn off stay off, which is like, sounds simple, but like is very, very, very important because it's really annoying when it didn't. And some other changes like that. Did I edit Lara's favorite color? I have. It's dark mauve. And then our ideology color is a slightly different color of sort of purple. The reason I couldn't fix it last stream was it's saved as like a name, not a hex code. So I was looking for an RGBA or hex code, and it just isn't saved like that. So it threw me for a loop, and I couldn't figure it out until post-stream. And then I like immediately figured it out. It was like, oh yeah, duh. I'm going to put the styling station in Liara's bedroom. So we can... So one of the reasons why I had all of our working benches minified is because they kept, like, turning on and off, and I didn't have control over that, and it was really annoying. But now that I have control over it, because it actually, when you turn them off, they stay off, we can not prohibit it. We can leave it out and open. Alright. The butcher table. Butcher table. Where is it? So this here, I would like to butcher creature until we have a certain amount of food. And 1,000 actually sounds pretty good. Just so that we don't have our shelves overflowing. I think that works pretty well. And then let's go ahead and group hunt the muffalo that are hanging around. So the plan is to leave where we are now. And go to the Terraformer, which is a pretty close hop. So it doesn't require a lot of fuel to do it. And get another grav core. The thing I have to ask you guys is what to do with our last grav core. So we can turn it into power or extend the ship. Power or extend. Those two choices up top. So in terms of ship count, we're at 1192 out of 1250. So we do have some room for additional extensions if you want. Alternatively, of course, you could choose power and turn it into power. So that we get some more free power from it. And this is for the grav cell that we're getting from the Terraformer. So it's not something I currently own. I will own soon, or at least that's the plan. Alright, let's do some group hunting. The other thing is, at some point I want to turn... I'm not done necessarily with the role changes, because we could have another gunner. So I'll be designating another gunner at some point. I'm not exactly who should be. Probably like Mag of our current roster, but our current roster could, of course, change. Just topping up on food. And one of the reasons, another one of the reasons to top up on food is the Terraformer is a super frozen tile. So that actually reminds me of one more thing I ought to do, which is go to the tailoring bench and queue up tail caps. So I'm going to do tail caps, 95, only material, no thrumbo, and at this point, I can have it as any worker, but obviously peddling fire is going to be the one to do it, or peddling rather. So of our current quests, one of the other ones we've been neglecting is the information about Liara's Longblade. And I don't want to neglect that. She does want to collect her relics. It's actually part of the name of the ship, right? If this is the Pilgrim ship, the relics play a significant role because the relics are what people make pilgrimages to. So I think it's important for us to go down that path as well. So after the Terraformer, I'll probably pull the trigger and do some of those hacks. Are tail caps better than the vac helms? So the thing is, no, but the vac helms act as like makeshift armor, which I don't necessarily want to offer the slaves. Right? Because armored slave is a slave that can rebel better. If that makes sense. Oh, and the cold snap is over. But it's going to be really cold at the Terraformer. And it looks like you guys want us to do power for the next core. So we have acquired a whole bunch of steel, and we're really just about ready to leave. We don't really need to do anything about this smoke spewer. It's not our problem. We're leaving. So the only other thing I want to do is check for ores. I know that there was silver ore here. There is no jade. And there is no compacted plasteel. So, okay. We are pretty all set to go, I think. Taking a look at our current component count, I don't think it would necessarily be a bad idea to mine up the components before we leave, because we're down to 28, which is far less than I would like. The other thing I wanted to do is to get pilot assistance in pedaling and Liara, which will help us fly the ship better for quicker cooldowns and less crashes. So that's another thing I would like to do before too long. It looks like pedaling has a lot of tasks to manage, and also like our trade shelves are like just about full up. There we go. We got some tail caps. There's some housekeeping stuff to do before we leave, making sure that we have plenty of food and warm clothing ready for the Terraformer. And he's making Masterworks because of production specialist, which is like totally an unbalanced role, and I love it. I don't care. Okay, so it seems like all the tailoring stuff he's done with, perfect, and now he's making the pilot assistance. I think maybe before we leave, I will make an effort to implant the pilot assistance so that we have a quicker cooldown. It's probably honestly the most imbalanced thing about this about Odyssey is really high percent piloting allows you to like take off every like 8 hours, which means like no raids can ever bother you. You become like essentially raid proof unless they like paw drop from the sky. You know, that would be the only use case where like you couldn't dodge it, which is pretty imbalanced, if I do say so myself. So it's not that I hate it. I just don't think it's at all a fair challenge. But you know, whatever. It's a single player game. It can be as imbalanced as it wants to be, I suppose. The other thing I'd like to do is to start running the cables in walls and not like all over the floor, because I do find it kind of annoying to like click the floors when you're trying to interact with floor tiles or the items and you get cabling and you're like, the hell, I don't want cables. So I'm going to start changing the cabling around as well, if you're wondering what I was doing, just to make it a little bit more like player convenient. Let's see. Because I have all this hidden conduit, I'm, you know, all the steel for hidden conduit, I should say. I might as well use it. Inspired surgery. Well, I guess we can use that up once the pilot assistants are done. Liara implanting pedaling with one. And that will look a lot cleaner once it's once those changes are updated. All the roles except for Morga are limited. So in terms of ideological roles, you can always mouse over, and it will tell you like what if are there restrictions, etc., etc. If that answers your question. So the production specialist, as a reminder, increases construction speed and general labor speed, and also increases the quality of crafting or construction by 1, which is the big deal. So like a masterwork becomes a legendary. It's a way to have legendaries without inspirations, which is kind of incredible. And then guards give you the ability to, or the shooting specialists increase the shooting accuracy, reduces the aiming time, has the aura marksman command, so it is also quite powerful. So if I take a look at like aiming time, 50%, which is pretty radical, very strong. All right, so I think I have both. No, I have one pilot assistant. I'm going to wait until pedaling makes the other one. And then we'll be on our way. I know it's taking a little bit of time. Oh, the number of specialists? I don't believe the non-2 defaults are limited. But I forget, because I generally don't divvy them up so much. I think it's 2 per the other roles, so you can have like 2 guards, 2 production, 1 more guide, and 1 leader. And MDT, thank you for the resub. Canadian Panda 2 and Chief, and oh my god, so many. I am going to just choose this one for you guys. I don't really care to keep someone in bed and like tend to them. That sounds pretty boring to me, so I'll just, I'm gonna pick no. Okay. And it looks like the wiring and cabling are updated. And then it is getting adjusted. There we go. I do like how everything is connecting to this one cable for some reason. I'll just have to, like, tell everything to rewire to closest. Although they're hidden, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So it seems to me like we are just about ready for takeoff. I'm going to hunt a few more things to max out our meat. And then in all this time, we've also had the chance to cut down some trees for chem fuel, although not a whole lot of trees. We definitely have a kind of a lack of chem fuel, but it's not a big deal because it's good. This is a short hop, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Oh yeah, this generator is no longer attached. In fact, I'm not even really sure it's like necessary anymore, but I'll put the cabling back in anyway. But good catch on that. Okay, so the pilot assistants are done. I did say that I wanted to surgically implant them before we leave. So, let's go ahead and start that. We're going to do a pilot assistant into pedaling. And I don't really have a hospital, do I? Well, I could just put a bed here for now. I'll get a better spot for it eventually. It's not a very high quality bed, but that's fine. So we're using up Liara's inspiration so that she can get a better inspiration, because surgical inspirations are kind of... They're only nice when you're having to do a one-off surgery. What's Mag's construction level? 14, and RM's is 18, so RM's is still better. She could, of course, pick up production specialist, but I don't really want to give her that title at the moment. Although, maybe it would have made sense to give her the title temporarily to make a throne. Because one of the advantages of a high-quality throne is Liara meditates faster on it. So there's a pretty reasonable advantage. And then, now that Liara is asleep, I'm going to do the same surgery, the pilot assistant, operated by Breakfire. But I think what I'm going to do to avoid... lower quality medical tending is use glycerol meds while he's high on wake up to like maximize the surgical chance, and she's fine. So once the anesthesia wears off, we will take off for the Terraformer. So we're just stocking up. No, that was good timing. I kicked him out of bed and he was like, okay, I guess I'm up now. Convenient. Oh. Ooh. Part of me thinks maybe I give that exclusively to Liara, so she's, like, disease blocked. It's food for thought. Oh, chat. So we have added a whole bunch of capacity to our chem tanks. I think if we did a launch with them being woozy, yeah, the expected quality is pretty low. If you're wondering about piloting ability is a mix of intellectual, pilot assistant, consciousness. So if you're like woozy from consciousness, you can't pilot very well. Basically, don't DWI, because you crash. So we'll wait. Hey, Daedora! Thank you for the resub. And it looks like my people are kind of like idle. They're just one around. There's really not much for us to do at the moment. Oh, another thing I wanted to do, come to think of it, is I wanted to add wood here. So, this was a very common question that I got on YouTube comments. The pathfinding has changed fundamentally for like kill boxes in this patch. I mean, you can't barricade to block them from standing on it. Raiders will still stand on barricades to fire. So trying to add barricades to your kill box won't help control traffic, if you will. But what will help control traffic is setting the floor on fire so they don't frickin' stand there. So that's exactly what I'm doing here, is I can floor up this entryway, and then anytime it's like humanoid raiders, I can just throw a Molotov down, and they won't stand there, because if they stand there, they burn. I think that's probably a somewhat reasonable solution. So, we're using it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 shelves out here. One is going to be for a Molotov, and the other is going to be for EMP. Either grenades or EMP launcher, I don't really care which. And the concept is, if they're robotics, we have one weapon. If we have, if they're organics, we have another, and that helps to counter a bit. I think, given the distance here, it should be an EMP launcher, not EMP grenades, because EMP grenades have pretty limited range. So I'll use Mag as an experiment. Case in point, if Mag is standing here, she can't reasonably grenade anyone in the entryway, so I'll have to get a launcher. And Liara is holding a concert, but I think she forgot she's holding the concert, or she's trying to be fashionably late, because she is... There she goes! She was just like, yep, I'm holding concert, everyone. Now, Now wait for me to show up. So yeah, well, over here we'll set it up for a EMP launch only, which I already grenades are off. So we'll have to manufacture an EMP launcher at some point. She's really embracing the Noel lifestyle. She really is. Which also reminds me, maybe not right now because I wanna launch as soon as I can once the anesthesia wears off. But now that Peddling is a production specialist, he could definitely try his hand at trying to make better instruments, because we have a normal harp and a poor harpsichord made by Aram, because like he was the only person that could do it. But at this point, like, we are capable of a much higher quality, so I should probably invest time and resources to make better instruments for the quality of the... Oh my god, you are fearless. For the quality of the throne room. Because the throne room is sitting at 162, but if it got up to 170, it would raise up a tier, which is really useful for dining and recreation. An unbelievably impressive room versus an extremely impressive room is a bit of a jump. Alright, so T-minus 10 hours, I think. 16 hours. T-minus 16 hours for the anesthesia to wear off, and then we can be bounced out of here. Okay, I guess that's fine. A cougar self-tamed and immediately eaten, or a squirrel self-tamed and immediately eaten by a cougar. It's like, okay. Alright, so the other thing I wanted to manufacture over here was Molotovs. Or actually, let's do Incendiary Launcher and EMP Launcher, because they're greater range. So, Incendiary and EMP made by Peddling. So, down here we'll do Incendiary Launcher instead. Yeah, it's a dormant mech hive. So it's not like it's going to wake up and kill anyone, but it's pretty crazy that she was just like standing there. Now, it is possible to take out this this mech cluster and then steal their unstable power cell, but I think the effort for the value is not quite there. If there was more cells, maybe I would consider it, but like one cell is like, meh. And we are definitely acquiring a whole lot of junk here, so I hope that there's a trade opportunity soon. One of the things that we could do is try to gift things to a friendly faction, like the Bossonites, because they're pretty close to being able to be befriended, and then therefore call in trade caravans to be able to ditch things we don't want. But getting a shuttle would be even more powerful of a tool. Speaking of which, bionic replacements is nearly done being researched. So, what to research next for Liara? We've got sniper rifles, or really it's technically called precision rifling, long-range mineral scanning. So the advantage of long-range mineral scanning is it would allow you to try to find a specific resource, probably in our case, uranium or plasteel. Recon armor, which paired with jump packs would give us locus armor, which is pretty important and pretty dope. Transport pods plus shuttles. We don't have a shuttle core yet, but I'm sure we'll get one at some point. We could also do neural computation. Neural computation gives us the learning assistance, which will help with getting better at skills in general. We've got hospital beds plus vitals monitor if we want hit point recovery rate. Noble apparel and royal apparel at some point is going to be needed because Liara already demands noble apparel. We just haven't researched it yet. Or autocannon turrets for our ship defense. So the choice is yours. I'll give you 2.5 minutes to vote on that. And we, I think, are all set to launch. So we will stop cutting down, stop harvesting, stop chopping wood, and then as soon as people are awake in the morning, we'll get on out of here. A masterwork incendiary launcher. Well, damn. All right. That's does extra damage, I guess. Is extra accurate. It doesn't hurt. And here comes the MP. All right. So it looks like everyone's awake. We have a expected quality 69%. Nice. And we're out of here. Headed to the frozen terraformer. That's an interesting pilot console setup. Well, you know, it is definitely Ship Mistress Warhammer styled. That is sure. Alright. So the frozen terraformer, the way this works is there is a grav core somewhere in the core of this thing, and we need to mine it out. So I'll park here and try to figure out where it is inside. Yeah, this is kind of like Rogue Trader, exactly. She is like a rogue trading ship mistress dominating this planet. Alright, to that end, I think my slaves are not allowed to wear tail caps, so I'm going to allow it. Because otherwise they're going to freeze. The other thing I could do is to enclose the tunnel and then, like, heat it up. But I don't think I'm going to bother with that. So let's go ahead and dig like this. And I'm sure I'll end up finding the frozen terraformer that way. Wildlife elk. Nice. That'll work. And as you can see, it is deep freeze. The terraformer is causing a freeze here. So sort of like the ancient one that causes that causes toxic fallout. This one causes basically a cold snap. And it looks to me like Noble and Royal Apparel are going to be the next research. But I'm very eager to get bionics, of course. Let's look for compacted. So we have compacted machinery. We have lots of compacted machinery up here, actually. I can see a few nodes. We don't have any compacted plasteel. What about jade? None. And then ores. None. Okay. Oh, it also reminds me, the grav power cells are ugly, but they're really expensive. So one of the things we could do here is to intentionally install it in our throne room to drive up the wealth of the throne room. So if you look at the wealth here, it's 16... Here, let me pause that. Or hide that. So Noble Apparel's next. So the wealth in here is 16,350. And now it's 18,330. But if you put it far enough away from the throne, you don't see it. It's not ugly. It's only ugly when you're standing over here. So putting expensive but ugly things in the wings of the throne room are a net benefit, which I'm going to use to my advantage, because why the hell not, right? Oh, and there we go. We found the fortified wall. Now we could bust in here, like just with like weapons or whatever, but I'm going to try to mine our way in somehow instead. There's not a lot of trees, but if ink is idle, might as well have ink cut down the few pine trees that exists. And Crimson. Cheers, dude. Thank you for the resub. And everything else. Alright. Other than steel, there's not a lot of other sexy resources on this map. So we're going to want to get going from here pretty quick. Now, the question is, where do we go to next? I think there is a call for doing some Longblade stuff. So I think I'm going to make the choice there and aim for a Longblade, because I don't think Liara wants to be away from her relics for that long. And there we go. We found a door. With that said, Arim, could you mine out like a pocket here? And then also make it more convenient. And Raveno, thank you for the resub too. Where did Arm go? Oh, here he comes. Oh my god. Okay, I guess resting is alright. So we can start breaking in here, but I kind of want a little bit more room for our defenders to be, and also an easier way to flee back to the ship if things get overwhelming. I don't suspect that they will, but you might as well plan for the worst, hope for the best. And there we go. There's our EMP launcher, all set to go. The other thing I want to make sure to do is the smelt all weapons. Okay, the smelt all weapons zone isn't included in these. So even if I turned on smelt all weapons, it wouldn't reach. So these weapons would be exempt from destruction, which is important. Just fine-tuning our lovely ship here. I don't need those 6 sections, so I'm going to refund them. And, yeah, here we go. RM is now mining it out so that we'll be able to search the facility. So it's negative 40 right now. You can see why the tail caps are kind of necessary, because even with the tail caps, he's still getting pretty frozen. He's only protected to, like, negative 2. So, hypothermia abound. And a reminder of why I'm designing it like this, I want all of the turrets that we have traversable, even when there isn't flooring underneath. So if we were in space and there's no flooring, we can still traverse to reload and repair, which is pretty important when you have a warship. Having a warship not be able to repair itself, not great. Could I put floodlights in the kill box? I actually don't want to illuminate this end of it, because I want my attackers in the dark. It's in my advantage if they can't see very well. Alright, Noble Apparel's done, and we'll do Royal Apparel next. So if you take a look at Liara, she wants Baron-specific apparel, which means a formal shirt. So I am going to do a one-off formal shirt for her. I'm not going to be able to fulfill all of her requirements, because I don't have prestige armor that she could wear at the moment. Plus, I'm not even really sure I want prestige armor over Locust armor, because Locust armor is just, like, better in every way possible. But I could go with prestige armor anyway. I could be convinced. I'm just, like, on the fence about it. So let's give you Panther leather. That works. Panther shirt. I wish it was like a slider where if she had at least some royal, the mood negativity would go away. But it's like an all or nothing where either you're head to toe in royal apparel or you're not, and if you're not, you're pissed. Super Rascal, thank you for the resub. Where the turrets can shoot them in the back, I plan to have the entire thing lined with turrets, so they will be shooting them in the back at some point. I just need more resources and expanders for that. What size map am I playing? Well, these kind of temporary map tiles, like, play their own, but I am on default. Okay, I'm gonna leave pedaling alone to continue, smithing. Because we do have bionics. And let's figure out our first bionic. We have a eye scar that probably needs addressing. So let's do an eye and an arm. Because pedaling also has an arm injury. Keeping him busy. He is our production specialist after all. And then Allah will be first in the door, where everyone else will be off to the side, not downrange. Oh. Okay. We can call a trooper squad. Well, that helped. Clearing the way. I hear a lot of movement. I don't even know what to say. I thought it would hiss, but with a breach axe, I guess there's just no delay. It just like blew up her brain. So much for a shield belt, I guess. Alright. Well, that won't work. Hey, Ink, you have a shield belt. Come punch this turret. Would I consider giving RM bionics? No. Never. A slave doesn't ever use bionics. We can keep her frozen, I guess. Let's put her in Vexstone. I should have shot it. That breach axe just like did too much damage or whatever. Oh, Jesus. Right as I get there, frickin' security drone pops out and goes, "Hello! I'm here to shoot you." You surprised the body survived? I guess? Okay, her shield belt broke, and she got knocked... She's a wimp, so she got knocked out from that. Alright, let's see. Pedaling, you come join us. So I had Mag close the distance. Here, get closer, guys. I had Mag close the distance, and, okay, there we go. And, of course, they're still patrolling. I'm gonna forbid the door for now. Thanks, shield belt. So handy that you, broke so quickly. And she is hypothermic, so I'm gonna get her in before she also freezes to death. Yeah, at least it's cold here. Yeah, her body isn't going anywhere. So there is that. Well, I guess we don't really need the bionic eye anymore, but Ink is also missing an eye, so I guess she could benefit from it. I don't think I'm gonna give Arum stuff, though. It's a bit different, like missing an eye versus like actually getting boosted. And I need to manage power. Got it. Let's see. We are just idle at the moment. Okay, ship is ready to launch. Good to know. What I could do... I'm just brainstorming, trying to pick up the pace of exploration. I think we just wait for Ink to wake up. I could strip her. The problem is, even when you can dress people, you can't, like, take off a shield belt. Which is stupid. I feel like they still need a partial strip mechanic. Because sometimes you don't want to strip everything off of them, just like whatever's tattered or needed. But the game, it's like an all or nothing, and I don't really like that. It's so cold out, even our research room is getting like bad temp focus. I think what I'll do is make another shield belt with pedaling. For a higher quality one that can withstand more than just like a shot or two. Where are you going, Muffalo? Oh, you're going through the front door. Fine. You're dead. That's one way to handle it. So pedaling will be done with the shield belt soon. We'll toss it on an RM, have him be the bullet sponge, and then clear more of the facility that way. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Odyssey, the Pilgrim ship, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow Liara faithful.